Okay, so this is What's Wrong with America, Part 3. Where did I leave off? Yeah, secularism. Okay, so basically secularism, even if you don't believe in, like, God or Christianity or some sort of religion, you should at least believe that there's more to us, or that we have a spirit inside of us that controls who we are and what we do. And so many people, they don't believe in that, and so, they don't believe in any sort of higher power or anything. They just think they can do whatever they want, I make the rules, I can do what I want, I'm not responsible for anything, there's no God, there's no karma, there's just no anything like that. And then there's the whole idea of, again, how we treat people, because you have to keep in mind, without a spirit, everyone's just a chemical equation. Therefore, as long as you get the equation right, you should get the proper results. And you see this in psychology. The father of psychology, Wilhelm Wundt, he stated that man has no soul, but he really believed in the human soul. He just hated it, and he wanted to, stomp it out as much as he could to control us, because our soul is what gives us our love and our intelligence, and without our spirit we don't have that. And so that's ultimately what we have to do, because we are a spirit. And there's a quote from C.S. Lewis, is that you are not a, what was that? I'm sorry. A quote from C.S. Lewis is, you do not have a spirit, you are a spirit, or you don't have a soul, you are a soul. And it's definitely a very good point he made, that we are all spirits, and so we see this in psychology. Just give them the right drugs, and it'll cure whatever problem they have. Well, you're squashing them out, you're hurting their spirit or whatever, you're making it hard for them to do better. We see this in education. I know I've talked way too much about education and government, but really it's how we were raised. What we're raised with from when we're young, we bring with us our whole lives. But anyways, back on topic is, it's in our education. Typically teachers have to, not always, typically they have a secular bias, and then there are times when, or there are things like, take the right drugs and you're just going to be smarter. Well, you're forgetting about their spirit. You're forgetting about actually doing things to make them smarter and help them learn. But instead you just give them, the right medicine to stop their disability, or you just throw a bunch of homework at them, like, oh, I need this person to learn, so I'm just going to throw a bunch of homework at them until they finally learn. And it's like, we're not cars, you can't just put us on an assembly line. And so, we actually have the spirit, and that spirit needs to interact and be strong, and that's what, psychology and education in our country's been weakening. And one thing, is like, you hear kids who work hard at school all day, and then they come home and they're doing homework until 4 o'clock at night, and they drink a bunch of coffee and they cry because of it. So you have these kids that are crying, and you think, oh, well, they don't like it, but, oh, it must be good for them. Wait a second, they're crying and it's not good for them? Yeah, it's only good for them because in the secular view, they are nothing but chemical equations anyway, so just give them a bunch of homework and it will make them smart, just like 1 + 1 = 2. But no, they're a person, they're an individual, they can't just be treated like a workhorse, and it doesn't make you smarter. And so basically what happens then is it's really not good for them. And so, like, you're damaging their spirit, you're damaging their soul, you're doing something that's bad for it and harmful to it, and then you expect that that's going to bring them somewhere far in society. Well, getting anywhere, the first thing is in your spirit. That's the first thing to success, is your mind and your soul and your heart, and basically make up your spirit. And if you damage that, then chances are they're not going to be able to make it anywhere, because everything you do starts with you. It starts with your spirit, that plays furthermore, and then goes outwards. You see what I'm saying? And so when people deny the spirit, that the spirit exists, then they deny that really they're human, they deny their humanity, and they deny that really what I'm looking for is really just the key to anything in society, you know. It's whole secularism. There is no soul, no real life. I can't remember what I was going to say. I had a very good point, but yeah, you know, it's good for us. It's good for our emotions. It's good for our society, and just not believing it's taking us to a whole new place. You know, we were meant to be alive, and we often have spiritual experiences when we're young, but because of, you know, biases in our religions and things like, what's it called, you know, things they teach us in science class and stuff like that, we just deny that, and we're told it's not real, it's coincidence, when really it is real. You know what I'm saying? And so we don't really reach our full potential that way, because we don't talk about the most important part of us, and that's who we are, and that's our soul. You know, there is no soul. Even if you're an atheist, you should at least feel that, you know, inside of us, and in our mind at least, there's like a psyche that can opt on its own, and it can be heard and stuff like that. So, yeah. So yeah, that's all for secularism. Now I have secrecy and conspiracies. Oh my gosh, you could talk all day on this. But I'm going to try and make it quick. You have the Illuminati and the Masons and the Skull and Bones and the Bilderbergers and Bohemian Grove and all these different conspiracies, these secret societies that typically worship like the occult or pagan gods. Even though they typically push a secular agenda, they still worship, you know, like Moloch and stuff like that. But anyways, basically these secret societies wish to control us, and they do it through the banking system, like the Federal Reserve, and they've taken over this country as well as a lot of the world. And that's definitely what's wrong with this country. That's not what the Founding Fathers wanted to rule us, even though a lot of them were Masons. Obviously, you know, it's been corruption. There's more corrupt that's involved, and like becoming a Mason will get you to a higher place in society, and if you're not a part of our New World Order system, then you're going nowhere. And they meet in these Bilderberg clubs and talk about how they're going to control us and how they're going to try and, you know, turn us into a socialist system and, you know, track us and stuff like that. And it's basically what it is, and that also goes into being uninformed. People don't know that these societies exist. And that really affects, like, all of these. They want to control us, so they ruin our education system to indoctrinate us the whole time and to keep us working as a slave in the system. They make sure we're uninformed. They are greedy, but they want us to be greedy as well. They want us to involve in, like, the more and the later, and the media. They control the media, and they're always supporting the big corporations, not the little guys, and so... You know, that's the thing where the money goes, and there's a ton you could look up in how they take control and how they use the banking systems and the Federal Reserve, or the Criminal Reserve, I say, to get control, but that's enough on that, for now. The sheep herd, oh my gosh, this is number 11 on my list. This is basically people who just do what they're meant to do what they're told, go to school, get to college, live in a big house with a white picket fence, and get married and die. You know, follow the system, do what everyone else does, don't be any special. To go outside what the system, what you're told is bad, stay in it, believe what the government tells you. The government is the good shepherd, and everything the government says is right. You know, what's on mainstream media is true, Alex Jones is a liar, all these independent media sources is a liar, and yeah, that's basically part of, you know, it's better to hold a sheep herd. Everybody follows the same system. If you say something different, they look at you like you're ridiculous, because it's what they've always taught. It's what they're taught in their education system, you know? Just follow the system, do what everyone else does, and you're going to be okay. And you don't think for yourself. You stay in your herd. You go to school. You get good grades. You take hard classes. You go to the best possible college. And then once you fall victim to a system, finally, hopefully by that point, you should realize, oh dear, this is a lie from the beginning, you know, and this is what's getting me in trouble. Number 12, I have violence. Now, yeah, you could say that like violent video games and stuff cause a real problem to our moral society, and I think, you know, to an extent that's true. But I'm mostly talking about like the terrorism outside of our country. When I say terrorism, I don't mean Al Qaeda. I mean our government. I mean, because the CIA pretty much is Al Qaeda. No, I mean Al Qaeda pretty much is the CIA. And you look at us. Look at Obama sending drones and blowing up children in another country, and our acts of imperialism, trying to help the Illuminati take over the world, and it's just disgusting. Like, all the innocent people were moved and killed. I mean, like, I think like 2,000 people died in 9/11, and we've killed way more of them than they've ever killed of us, and a lot of the terrorists nowadays just want us out, the quote-unquote terrorists, because that's basically what it is. It's imperialism, and they brainwash, you know, our troops and stuff like that, and it's just this whole violence thing. Like, you see graphic pictures of what drones have done to children. It's pretty sick. You would put the destruction of culture. This is a very big issue. This has to do with feminism, which is basically, you know, like, women say, oh, I don't need no man, I'm going to get a divorce and stuff like that, because it's what's shown in the media and all that. And so, I mean, I'm not saying that all women should just be like a housewife sitting in the house, but, you know, like in the old days, but I'm saying, like, it's not bad for women to be housewives, you know, it's not bad to follow that traditional thing, and it's really one of the more honorable traditions out there, and it's destroying our family. Like, divorce rates are shooting up. Our culture is becoming, another way it's destroying our culture is not just in the family, but in how, you know, kids and, you know, people behave. Like, again, they always have to be popular, they're always shallow and superficial, they're not caring about what really matters, they're not caring about the spirit. That goes back to secularism. They just want to consume more and be popular and big, and that's one way. The destruction of our culture overall is really bad. Number 14, I said political correctness. Again, repeat after me, political correctness is emotion. So that's basically, you do things based on your emotion. They'll tell you, like, oh, the little kids died, so we need to implement gun control, and that gets you to support gun control, or the corporations are destroying us, and then that gets you to be more of a free market, even though that supports the corporations even more, and basically people making decisions out of emotion rather than out of their, you know, mind, or rather than thinking logically. They just use their emotion to make every decision. You look at, you know, in our education system, you have to do good in school so you can quote-unquote do good in life, and they say do good and be successful over and over, and then it brainwashes the kids in their politically correctness to think that everything's great, and they're not being indoctrinated. And this really is the key to us making a lot of money, and if you don't follow the system, then you're immoral. And it's in our school, it's in government, we need more government to protect us, or we're in so much danger. And really, you need to protect yourself and the people you love. You know, government can't protect you. It never has and never will be. And finally, just less freedom. Just, that's really the result of all these. There's more drug laws, more laws. Like, there are so many laws that you can be criminally punished for, and you don't even know them. And so many laws. Like, I heard about a guy, like, he went out and wanted to live in his house in the woods and wanted to live without money, but he couldn't because the government collects property tax, and so now you can't live without money. You know, if that's how you want to live, then, you know, that's fine. I respect what he did. I'm not saying that it's bad to live with money, but I respect what that man did, and just, you have to follow this whole system of everything. Well, ultimately we're less free as a result of all these problems. So that's all I have time for now, and this will be the last video. So, goodbye. I hope you all learn a lot from this, and Auf Wiedersehen.